My chosen one, something powerful is happening around you right now, and you were not meant to miss this moment. There is a reason your eyes have landed on this message today. This is not random. This is not coincidence. This is a divine interruption, carefully orchestrated by the heavens, because something has shifted in your life that you cannot yet fully see. For too long, you have carried silent battles, financial pressure that seemed to come from nowhere, health struggles that drained your energy and left you searching for answers, doors that closed without explanation, opportunities that slipped through your fingers just when you needed them most. But what if I told you it was never just bad luck? What if I told you there were unseen forces trying to keep you in a cycle of lack? Right now, in this very moment, Archangel Michael is stepping forward with a message so urgent, so powerful, that it has the ability to change the direction of your life forever. A spiritual shield is being placed over your finances and over your health. Yes, right now. You may not see it with your physical eyes, but in the spiritual realm, something extraordinary is taking place. A barrier of divine protection is rising around you, blocking what once drained you, stopping what once delayed you, and restoring what was quietly taken from you. This is the moment where everything begins to turn. The season of lack, the endless cycle of almost, the feeling of never having enough, the quiet anxiety about tomorrow. That season is coming to an end. Not solely, not eventually, but decisively. And in its place something new is beginning to rise. A season of divine abundance. Not just a little increase, not just temporary relief, but overflow. The kind of overflow that reaches into every area of your life. Your finances, your health, your peace, your purpose. But listen carefully, because this is important. When heaven shifts your season, the enemy often tries one last time to whisper doubt into your mind. You may feel uncertainty. You may question if this is real. You may wonder if things can truly change for you. That is not your truth. That is resistance trying to hold on. Because the truth is this: you are being covered, protected, and prepared for something far greater than what you've experienced before. And this message is your confirmation. Something is ending. Something greater is beginning. And you are standing right at the threshold of it. Will you receive it? There was a time when you wondered why things kept slipping away from your hands just as you were about to grasp them. You tried to be responsible. You tried to make wise decisions. You tried to stay hopeful, but somehow, the results did not match your effort. It felt like you were walking forward, yet something invisible kept pulling you back. That feeling was not imagined. It was the weight of a season that had already been assigned an expiration date, even though you could not see it at the time. The season of lack is not always about what is visible. It is not just about money, being tight, or your body feeling weak. It is deeper than that. It is a spiritual environment where delays, discouragement, and depletion quietly take root. You may have noticed how one problem would lead to another, how a small setback would somehow grow into a larger struggle. That pattern was not random. It was a cycle, and cycles like that do not break by accident. They break by divine intervention. Throughout this time, your finances may have felt unstable, like you were constantly trying to catch up but never quite arriving. Bills came faster than provision. Opportunities appeared, but something always interfered before they could fully manifest. At the same time, your health may have mirrored that same instability. Fatigue, stress, or unexplained discomfort may have become familiar companions. It was as if both your strength and your resources were being quietly drained. But even in the middle of that, something important was happening behind the scenes. You were being preserved. While it felt like loss, you were actually being protected from things that could have caused even greater harm. While it felt like delay, you were being repositioned for something more aligned with your purpose. The truth is, not every closed door was a denial. Some were divine protection. Not every struggle was punishment. Some were preparation. And now, that preparation has reached its turning point. Archangel Michael has not been distant from your situation. He has been present, observing, guarding, and waiting for the appointed moment to act. His role is not only to fight battles you cannot see, but also to ensure that when your season shifts, it shifts completely. Not halfway, not temporarily, but fully. This is why the change you are entering now feels different. You may already sense it in subtle ways. A thought that feels lighter than before. A moment of peace where anxiety once lived. A small sign that something is beginning to move in your favor. These are not coincidences. They are early signals that the atmosphere around your life is changing. Divine timing is not rushed, and it is never late. It arrives with precision. And right now, you are stepping into that precise moment where what once resisted you no longer has the same authority over your life. The forces that tried to keep you in limitation are losing their hold. The patterns that repeated themselves are breaking. The weight that once sat heavily on your shoulders is beginning to lift. This is the shift you have been waiting for, even if you did not know how to name it. But understand this clearly. When a season ends, it does not whisper. It declares. And this declaration is not coming from your circumstances. It is coming from a higher authority. The authority that sees beyond your present situation and speaks into your future with certainty. That is why this moment matters so deeply. Because you are not just leaving behind struggle, you are stepping into alignment. And alignment changes everything. It changes how opportunities find you. It changes how your body responds. It changes how your mind processes fear and faith. And changes how provision flows into your life. The season of lack had its time, but its time is over. And what is beginning now will not resemble what you have left behind. There is something you must understand now, because this is where everything becomes real in a way you can feel, not just hope for. The spiritual shield that has been released over your life is not symbolic. It is not just a comforting idea. It is an active force, placed with intention, designed with precision, and sustained by divine authority. The shield does not simply sit around you. It responds. It moves with you. It recognizes what is meant for you and what is not. Where there was once exposure, there is now covering. Where there was once vulnerability, there is now resistance against anything that tries to drain, delay, or disturb what belongs to you. Archangel Michael is not placing this shield casually. This is a deliberate act of protection over two of the most sensitive areas of your life, your finances and your health. These are the areas that were targeted the most during your season of lack. And because they were targeted, they are now being fortified. Think about the moments when something always went wrong but didn't. When an unexpected expense appeared but somehow you managed. When your body felt like it was on the edge, but you still found the strength to continue. Those were not accidents. Those were early signs that you were never completely unprotected. But now, the protection is no longer partial, it is complete. This shield works in ways you may not always notice at first. It can redirect opportunities so that only the right ones reach you. It can block decisions that would have led to loss. It can even influence your awareness, helping you sense what feels right and what feels off. In your health, it begins to restore balance. It quiets what was inflamed, strengthens what was weak, and stabilizes what felt uncertain. There are stories, quiet, unspoken testimonies, of people who entered this kind of divine covering and saw sudden shifts. Finances that once seemed stuck began to flow again. Debts found unexpected solutions. Physical strength returned in ways that doctors could not fully explain. Peace replaced panic. Clarity replaced confusion. And now, you are stepping into that same kind of experience. But here is where your role becomes important. You must not resist what is trying to protect you. Sometimes, when life begins to change, there is a strange instinct to question it, to doubt it, to wonder if it will last. That reaction comes from the memory of your past season, not the reality of your current one. If you hold on to that doubt, it can blur your ability to recognize what is already working in your favor. Instead, you are being called to receive, to accept that something greater than your circumstances is now operating in your life, to trust that what is being blocked does not belong to you, to believe that what is being restored will not be taken away again. Because this shield does not just defend, it also preserves what enters your life from this point forward. The money that comes will carry stability with it. The healing that begins will carry endurance. The peace that settles within you will not be easily shaken. This is not temporary relief. This is a shift in structure. And as this truth settles into your spirit, something within you will begin to change. You will think differently. You will feel differently. You will respond differently. And those internal changes will start to shape your external reality. So right now, in this very moment, acknowledge what is happening. You are not exposed anymore. You are not unguarded anymore. You are under divine protection. Type "I receive divine covering" in the comments if this is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 918 has just been released. And as this covering surrounds you, hear this call clearly. This message is not only meant to reach you, but to reach others who are still standing in the same place you once stood. When you choose to sow into this mission, you become part of the flow that carries light into dark places, just as it has reached you today. The word declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." This is not just a verse. It is a living promise speaking directly to you now. I feel led to say this. As you receive, you are also called to release. When you support this message through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link placed in every description and QR code, you are not just giving. You are activating a cycle of overflow. You are planting seeds into fertile ground where souls are awakened, strengthened, and restored. Do not hesitate in this moment. Step into it with boldness. Let your action become a prophetic response. And as you give, may your life be marked by increase, protection, and a harvest that exceeds your expectations. Something is already beginning to move in your financial world, even if it has not fully revealed itself yet. This is how divine restoration often begins, not with loud announcements, but with quiet shifts that slowly gather momentum until they can no longer be ignored. What once felt blocked will begin to feel open. What once felt delayed will begin to move with unusual timing. And what once felt out of reach will begin to come closer in ways you did not expect. This is the effect of alignment taking place under the protection of Archangel Michael. When your finances were under pressure, it was not just about numbers. It was about access. Access to the right opportunities, the right decisions, the right timing, and the right connections. During the season of lack, that access felt restricted. You may have worked hard, yet the outcomes did not reflect your effort. You may have planned carefully, yet something always interfered. That was the nature of the cycle you were in. But now, access is being restored. You will begin to notice opportunities appearing in places you were not even looking. Conversations may open doors that were previously closed. Ideas may come to you with clarity and confidence, replacing the confusion you once felt. These are not random events. These are signals that provision is no longer being held back. However, there is something important you must recognize as this shift unfolds. Not every opportunity is meant for you, even in a season of abundance. Discernment becomes essential now, because when doors begin to open, your ability to choose the right one will determine how smoothly you move forward. The difference in this new season is that you will not have to rely only on logic, you will feel guided. There will be a quiet knowing within you, a sense of peace when something is aligned and a sense of hesitation when it is not. Trust that inner guidance is part of the protection you have received. In practical terms, this may look like making decisions with more confidence than before. You may find yourself saying no to things you would have once accepted out of fear or urgency. You may choose patience over rushing, clarity over pressure. And in doing so, you will avoid the kind of losses that once set you back. Financial restoration is not only about receiving more, it is also about keeping what is meant for you. There will also be moments where provision arrives in unexpected ways. It may not always look like a large, sudden increase. Sometimes it will come as exactly what you need, right when you need it. A bill covered, an opportunity offered, a solution revealed at the last possible moment. These moments will remind you that you are no longer navigating life alone. You are being provided for with intention. At the same time, something within you will begin to heal in your relationship with money itself. The fear that once surrounded it will begin to loosen. The anxiety about not having enough will begin to fade. In its place, a quiet confidence will grow, a confidence that says, "I will be taken care of." This shift in mindset is just as important as the physical provision you receive, because how you think about your resources will influence how they flow in your life. When fear is replaced with trust, you stop operating from survival and begin operating from stability. And stability creates space for growth. As this process continues, you may also feel prompted to take steps you once avoided, to invest in something meaningful, to pursue an idea you previously dismissed, to step into a role or opportunity that requires courage. These nudges are not pressure. They are invitations. Invitations to step into the version of your life that is now becoming available to you. But remember, this is not about striving harder. It is about moving in alignment. The effort you make now will feel different because it will no longer be driven by desperation. It will be guided by clarity, and that clarity will lead you into places where provision flows more naturally. So if you begin to notice changes, even small ones, do not overlook them. Do not dismiss them as coincidence. Recognize them for what they are, the early stages of financial overflow taking form in your life. This is how it begins, quietly, steadily, and then undeniably. There is a healing that is beginning within you, and it is not limited to what can be seen on the surface. It is deeper than symptoms, deeper than diagnosis, deeper than the physical sensations you have been carrying. What is happening now is a restoration that starts in the unseen and then moves outward, touching every part of your body, your mind, and your spirit. For a long time, your health may have felt unpredictable. Some days you felt strong, and other days you felt drained without a clear reason. You may have tried to understand it, to manage it, to push through it, but it often felt like something was working against your efforts. That was not your imagination. Just as your finances were under pressure, your physical, and emotional strength were also being affected by the same season of lack. But that season has lost its hold. Under the covering of Archangel Michael, your body is no longer responding to the same patterns it once did. Where there was imbalance, there is now a movement toward stability. Where there was exhaustion, there is now a quiet rebuilding of strength. And where there was uncertainty, there is now the beginning of clarity. Healing does not always arrive all at once. Sometimes it comes in layers. It begins with small changes that may seem almost unnoticeable at first. A little more energy in the morning, a slightly clearer mind, a moment where your body feels lighter than it did before. These are not random improvements. They are signs that something within you is being restored. And as this restoration continues, you will begin to notice a shift not only in how you feel physically, but in how you carry yourself emotionally. The stress that once weighed heavily on your mind will begin to loosen its grip. Thoughts that once felt overwhelming will become quieter. The tension that once lived in your body will start to release. This is because healing is not only about the body, it is about the entire system of who you are coming back into balance. There may have been moments when you felt disconnected from your own strength. Moments when you questioned whether you would ever feel like yourself again. But those moments do not define your future. They were part of a season that is now ending. What is beginning now is a return to clarity, a return to strength, a return to peace within your own body. But there is something important you must do as this healing unfolds. You must allow it. Sometimes, after a long period of struggle, it can feel unfamiliar to experience ease. You may find yourself questioning whether the improvement is real, or wondering how long it will last. That hesitation is a reflection of what you have been through, not a reflection of what is happening now. Do not resist the healing by doubting it. Instead, receive it with openness. When your body begins to feel stronger, acknowledge it. When your mind feels clearer, accept it. When peace replaces tension, allow yourself to rest in it. These moments are not temporary. They are part of a larger transformation that is taking place within you. You may also feel guided to make small changes in how you care for yourself. To rest when you need rest. To nourish your body more intentionally. To create space for quiet and reflection. These are not burdens. They are acts of alignment. They work with the healing that is already happening, strengthening it and allowing it to grow. And as you continue in this process, you will begin to trust your body again. You will begin to feel safe within yourself again. You will begin to move through your days with a sense of stability that once felt distant. This is not just recovery. This is renewal. A renewal that is supported, protected, and sustained by a higher power that sees beyond your current moment and into your future. So do not measure your progress by what you used to feel. Measure it by what is beginning to change now. Because every small step forward is evidence that healing is no longer something you are waiting for. It is something you are already living in. What is unfolding in your life now goes far beyond simple recovery or improvement. You are not just being brought back to where you once were. You are being elevated into a completely different dimension of living. This is what defines the season you are entering. It is not a return to normal. It is an introduction to overflow. Overflow is often misunderstood. Many people think it only means having more money, more success, or more visible blessings. But divine abundance is deeper than that. It is a state where every area of your life begins to function with harmony, provision, and peace. It is when what flows into your life exceeds what drains from it. It is when you are no longer just surviving. You are steadily thriving. Under the covering of Archangel Michael, This overflow is not being released randomly. It is being directed with purpose. Your finances, your health, your emotions, your relationships, all of these areas are being aligned to receive more than they have in the past. And not just more in quantity, but more in quality. You may begin to notice that things feel different even before they fully change. There will be a sense of ease where there was once tension. Situations that used to stress you may no longer carry the same weight. This is because abundance does not just change your external circumstances, it changes your internal experience. For example, financial overflow is not only about having more money. It is about feeling secure, making decisions without fear, and knowing that your needs will be met without constant struggle. It is about moving from a mindset of scarcity to a mindset of stability and trust. In your health, overflow is not just about the absence of illness. It is about vitality. It is about waking up with energy, moving through your day with strength, and feeling connected to your body in a way that brings confidence rather than concern. Emotionally, overflow shows up as peace that is not easily shaken. It is the ability to remain grounded even when circumstances shift. It is the quiet assurance that you are supported, guided, and protected no matter what unfolds around you. And in your relationships, overflow begins to bring clarity. You will start to recognize which connections uplift you and which ones drain you. You will feel drawn toward people and environments that reflect the new season you are in. This is not accidental. It is alignment. But here is something you must understand clearly. Overflow requires space. If your life is still filled with the patterns, thoughts, and attachments from your previous season, it becomes harder for this new level of abundance to fully take root. That is why you may feel a natural urge to release certain things. Old habits that no longer serve you. Relationships that no longer feel aligned. Thoughts that keep pulling you back into fear or limitation. This is not loss. This is preparation. You are making room for something greater. And as you make that space, the flow of abundance becomes stronger, clearer, and more consistent. You will begin to experience moments where things come together effortlessly, where solutions appear without struggle, where opportunities align in ways that feel almost too perfect to be coincidence. These moments are confirmation. They are reminders that you are no longer operating under the same conditions as before. However, it is important to remain grounded as this happens. Overflow is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to sustain you. That means moving forward with awareness, gratitude, and balance. Appreciating what is coming into your life without becoming dependent on it. Staying connected to your purpose rather than getting lost in the rewards. Because true abundance is not just about what you receive. It is also about what flows through you. You will find yourself becoming more generous, more open, more willing to share what you have, whether it is your time, your energy, your resources, or your support. This is a natural response to overflow. When you are no longer operating from lack, giving does not feel like loss. It feels like extension. And this creates a continuous cycle. The more aligned you are, the more you receive. The more you receive, the more you can give. And the more you give, the more the flow continues. This is the rhythm of the season you are entering. A rhythm of abundance that does not stop at you, but begins with you. So as you stand in this moment, understand what is truly happening. You are not just stepping into a better situation. You are stepping into a different way of living. A way where provision flows, where peace remains, and where abundance is no longer something you hope for, but something you experience. As this new season begins to take shape around you, there is something you must remain aware of, because not everything that tries to follow you into this next chapter belongs there. When a cycle of lack ends, it does not always leave quietly. Sometimes, it attempts to linger through old thoughts, old fears, and familiar patterns that once defined your reality. This is where your awareness becomes your strength. You have already been lifted into a different alignment, but your mind may still remember what it felt like to struggle. There may be moments when a small financial concern triggers a larger fear. Moments when a slight physical discomfort makes you question your healing. Moments when uncertainty tries to convince you that nothing has really changed. But you must recognize those moments for what they are. They are echoes, not evidence. They are reflections of what was, not indicators of what is. Under the continued protection of Archangel Michael, those old patterns no longer have authority over your life unless you unknowingly give them space again. And that is why guarding your thoughts becomes so important in this phase of your journey. Your mind is powerful. It can either reinforce the abundance that is entering your life or unintentionally reopen the door to the limitations you have just been released from. This does not mean you have to be perfect or that you will never experience doubt again. It simply means that when doubt appears, you do not agree with it. You observe it, and then you let it pass. Instead of feeding fear with attention, you replace it with truth. When a thought says, "What if things go wrong again?" you answer it with, "Things are already shifting in my favor." When a feeling says, "This won't last," you respond with, "This is a new season, and it is established." When uncertainty tries to rise, you ground yourself in what you have already seen begin to change. This is how you protect your alignment. Because abundance is not only about what happens around you, it is also about what you allow within you. There is also another layer to this awareness. As your life begins to improve, not everyone around you will understand the shift you are experiencing. Some may still see you through the lens of your past. Some may unknowingly speak words that reflect limitation rather than growth. Others may question the changes they see in you because it does not match the version of you they are familiar with. This is not something to fear, but it is something to recognize. You are not required to explain your transformation to everyone. You are not required to shrink your progress to make others comfortable. You are allowed to grow, to expand, and to step fully into the life that is unfolding for you. At the same time, this does not mean disconnecting with harshness or judgment. It simply means maintaining your focus, staying rooted in what you know is happening within your life, choosing environments, conversations, and influences that support your current alignment rather than challenge it unnecessarily. This is part of spiritual maturity, a knowing what to receive and what to release, a knowing when to engage and when to step back, a knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. As you continue forward, you will also notice that your responses to situations begin to change. Things that once would have caused stress may now feel manageable. Challenges that once felt overwhelming may now feel like temporary obstacles rather than permanent barriers. This is a sign that your internal foundation is strengthening, and a strong foundation is what allows abundance to remain consistent. Because without that foundation, even good things can feel unstable. But with it, everything becomes more grounded, more secure, and more sustainable. So as you move through this phase, stay present. Pay attention to how you think, how you respond, and how you choose. Not from a place of fear, but from a place of awareness. You are no longer trying to escape lack. You are learning how to live in abundance. And that requires a different mindset, a different level of intention, and a different kind of focus. But you are ready for it. You have already crossed the threshold. Now, it is about staying aligned with where you are. because what is ahead of you will continue to grow, expand, and unfold, as long as you do not return to what you have already been released from. There are signs already appearing in your life, subtle at first, but undeniable once you begin to notice them. These are not coincidences. They are indicators that the season of abundance is no longer approaching. It has already begun to enter your reality. The shift you were told about is not something distant. It is something that is unfolding now, step by step, moment by moment. You may have felt it in a small but meaningful way, a situation that resolved itself more easily than expected, a moment of peace that came without effort, an opportunity that appeared without struggle. These are the early movements of overflow, and they carry a different energy than anything you experienced during your season of lack. Under the guidance and protection of Archangel Michael, these moments are not random blessings, they are confirmations. They are reminders that the resistance you once faced is no longer operating with the same power. The path ahead of you is becoming clearer, smoother, and more aligned with who you are becoming. But here is something important that will deepen and accelerate this process. Gratitude. Gratitude is not just a response to abundance, it is a magnet for it. When you acknowledge even the smallest shift, you amplify its presence in your life. When you recognize what is going right, you create space for more of it to follow. This is not about forcing positivity or ignoring challenges. It is about choosing to see what is already changing in your favor. You may begin to notice that when you pause and reflect, there are more things working for you than against you. More moments of ease than struggle. More signs of progress than delay. These realizations will not only strengthen your faith, they will also anchor you in your new reality. And as your awareness grows, so will your connection. Your connection to the divine guidance that is leading you. Your connection to the protection that surrounds you. Your connection to the flow of abundance that is entering your life. This connection is what keeps you steady as things continue to expand. There will be moments when the changes become more visible. Financial improvements that are no longer subtle. Health that feels consistently stronger. Opportunities that align in ways that leave no room for doubt. When these moments come, receive them fully. Do not downplay them. Do not question whether you deserve them. You do. This is the result of a season that has shifted in your favor. At the same time, remain grounded in who you are becoming. Abundance is not meant to change your identity. It is meant to reveal it. It brings out the version of you that is confident, stable, and aligned. The version of you that does not operate from fear, but from trust. You will also begin to notice how your perspective changes. Situations that once felt uncertain may now feel like opportunities. Challenges may begin to look like temporary adjustments rather than permanent obstacles. This shift in perspective is one of the clearest signs that your internal world is aligning with your external reality. And this alignment is powerful, because when your thoughts, emotions, and circumstances begin to move in the same direction, progress becomes natural. You are no longer pushing against resistance, you are moving with flow. So pay attention to what is happening. Notice the small wins. Acknowledge the quiet breakthroughs. Celebrate the moments of peace. These are all signs that the abundance you were promised is already making its way into every area of your life. I see the signs in the comments if this is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 522 has just been activated. And as your eyes begin to recognize these signs, understand this: what you are witnessing is not only for you, but for many others who are still waiting for their breakthrough. When you choose to support this message, you become part of a greater flow that carries hope, light, and truth into lives that are still searching. The word speaks. Whoever sows generously will also reap generously, and this promise is alive in this very moment, calling you into action. I feel this strongly. As you receive these signs, you are also being invited to respond. When you give through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link provided in every description and QR code, you are not just offering support. You are planting a seed into a field that is actively changing lives. This is a moment of alignment, a moment where your action can echo beyond what you see. Step into it without hesitation. Let your giving become a declaration that you are part of this movement. And as you sow, may abundance continue to rise in your life, flowing back to you in ways that are multiplied, protected, and sustained. There is a moment in every transformation where receiving is no longer enough. You are called to respond. You have felt the shift. You have seen the early signs. You have begun to recognize that something real is unfolding in your life. Now comes the part where your actions begin to align with what has already been set in motion. Divine movement always invites human response. This does not mean pressure or urgency in a fearful sense. It means awareness. It means recognizing that you are no longer in the same position you once were, and because of that, the way you move forward must also change. What worked in a season of lack will not serve you in a season of abundance. Under the continued guidance of Archangel Michael, you are being given direction, not always through loud instructions, but through quiet clarity. You may feel a gentle pull toward certain decisions, a strong sense to move in one direction and not another, a growing confidence about something you once hesitated to pursue. These are not random impulses. They are instructions, and the way you respond to them will shape how smoothly this next phase unfolds. You may feel guided to let go of something that once felt important, a commitment that no longer aligns, a habit that keeps you tied to your past, a mindset that limits your ability to receive what is now available to you. Letting go can feel uncomfortable, especially when it involves something familiar. But understand this: what you release now creates space for what is trying to enter. Holding on to what no longer serves you can slow down what is meant to accelerate your life. There may also be moments where you are called to step forward in ways that require courage. To say yes to an opportunity that feels bigger than your current comfort zone. To make a decision that moves you closer to stability and growth. To trust yourself in ways you have not before. This is where faith becomes active. Faith is not only about believing that things will change. It is about moving as if they already have. When you take a step forward with confidence, even if it feels unfamiliar, you are aligning your actions with the reality that is forming around you. You are no longer waiting for confirmation. You are becoming part of the confirmation. At the same time, you must remain grounded. Not every step needs to be rushed. Not every opportunity requires immediate action. Discernment continues to be your guide. You will know when something feels right. You will feel a sense of peace even if the step itself feels bold. That peace is your signal. Trust it. As you move forward, you will begin to see how your decisions create momentum. One aligned choice will lead to another. One step will open the door to the next. What once felt like effort will begin to feel like flow. This is how transformation becomes visible. Not through a single moment, but through a series of aligned actions that build upon each other. You may also notice that your confidence begins to grow. Not in a loud or forceful way, but in a steady, grounded way. You will trust your ability to navigate situations. You will feel more certain about your direction. You will begin to recognize that you are capable of handling what comes next. This confidence is not something you have to force. It is something that naturally develops when you align with your purpose. And as it grows, it will influence every area of your life. Your finances will reflect clearer decisions. Your health will reflect more balanced choices. Your relationships will reflect stronger boundaries and deeper connections. Everything begins to align when you begin to act in alignment. So listen closely to what you are being shown. Pay attention to what feels right. Release what feels heavy. Step into what feels aligned. This is your role in the season you have entered. Not to struggle, not to force, but to respond. Because what is unfolding in your life is not waiting for permission. It is inviting participation. And as you participate with clarity, courage, and trust, you will find that the path ahead becomes easier to walk, clearer to see, and more rewarding to experience. You are not standing still anymore. You are moving forward. And every step you take now carries the power to shape what comes next. There is a space you are entering now where things may not look exactly as you expected, and that is where your faith will be tested, not in fear, but in trust. Because even though the shift has already begun, not every result will appear instantly. Some things will unfold in stages, and in those moments, it may feel like you are standing between what was and what is still forming. This space is not a delay. It is a transition. And transitions require a different kind of strength. In your past season, strength meant enduring, pushing, surviving. But in this new season, strength means trusting, allowing, and remaining steady even when everything is still taking shape. It means understanding that just because something is not fully visible yet does not mean it is not already in motion. Under the continued presence of Archangel Michael, what is unfolding in your life is being guided with precision. Every step, every opportunity, every moment of clarity is part of a larger design that you are moving through. And while you may not see the entire picture yet, you are being positioned within it perfectly. There may be moments where you question the pace of things. Moments where you wonder why certain results have not fully appeared. Moments where your mind tries to compare your journey with someone else's. But this is where you must return to what you know. Your season has changed. And what is changing does not need to rush to prove itself. Real, lasting transformation builds with intention. It establishes itself in a way that cannot easily be shaken. That is why some things are unfolding step by step, so that when they arrive fully, they remain stable. This is especially true in your finances. You may begin to see improvement, but not all at once. Opportunities may come in layers. Growth may happen steadily rather than suddenly. This is not limitation. It is structure. It is ensuring that what you receive is something you can sustain, manage, and build upon. In your health, the same principle applies. Healing may continue to deepen gradually. Strength may return in stages. Your body is not only recovering, it is recalibrating. It is learning a new rhythm, one that supports long-term stability rather than temporary relief. And in your inner world, something even more important is taking place. You are learning to be at peace in the process. Peace is not just the absence of problems. It is the presence of trust. It is the ability to remain grounded even when things are still unfolding. It is knowing that you are supported, guided, and protected, regardless of what the current moment looks like. This kind of peace cannot be forced. It develops as you choose to trust what you cannot yet see. When uncertainty tries to rise, you do not allow it to take control. You acknowledge it, but you return to what you know is true. You remind yourself that the shift has already begun. You remind yourself that you are no longer where you were. You remind yourself that what is coming is aligned with your growth. This is how faith becomes steady, not through constant reassurance, but through insistent trust. And as this trust grows, you will find that the waiting moments feel different. They no longer feel like emptiness. They feel like preparation. They feel like space where something is quietly forming, ready to emerge at the right time. You will also begin to notice that you react differently to challenges. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, you remain calm. Instead of assuming the worst, you look for the lesson or the opportunity. Instead of feeling stuck, you remain open. This is a sign that your foundation is strong. And a strong foundation is what allows everything else to stand securely. So do not rush this phase. Do not measure your progress only by what is visible. Pay attention to what is changing within you. Because the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you respond are all part of the transformation you are experiencing. And as these internal shifts continue, the external results will follow naturally. You are not being held back. You are being built up. And what is being built now is something that will support you not just for a moment, but for the life you are stepping into. You are closer now than you have ever been, not just to a breakthrough, but to a complete transformation of how your life feels, flows, and unfolds. This stage you are standing in is not accidental. It is a preparation point, a moment where everything you have gone through begins to organize itself into something meaningful, something stable, something lasting. There is a quiet readiness forming within you. It may not feel loud or dramatic, but it is real. You are thinking differently. You are responding differently. You are seeing things with a clarity that was not available to you before. This is how you know you are no longer the same person who walked through that season of lack. Under the steady covering of Archangel Michael, you are being positioned to receive not just blessings, but responsibility. Because true abundance does not only bring increase, it brings expansion. Expansion of influence, expansion of opportunity, expansion of purpose. And with expansion comes the need to be grounded. This is why this moment matters so much. You are learning how to stand in what is coming without being overwhelmed by it. You are learning how to receive without fear, how to grow without losing balance, how to move forward without looking back at what once held you. There may still be moments where old thoughts try to surface. A brief hesitation, a quiet question, a small doubt that asks if things will really continue to improve. But those moments do not define you anymore. They pass quickly because you no longer attach to them. You have seen enough change to know that something real is happening. Now, it is about allowing yourself to fully step into it. One of the most important things you can do in this phase is to stop minimizing what is unfolding in your life. Sometimes, when change begins to happen, there is a tendency to downplay it, to treat it as temporary, to wait for something to go wrong. But that mindset belongs to your past, not your present. What is happening now is not fragile. It is being established. Your finances are not just improving, they are stabilizing. Your health is not just recovering, it is strengthening. Your mind is not just calming, it is becoming clear and focused. These are foundational shifts, and they are meant to support you long term. You are also being prepared to become a source of stability for others, not in a way that drains you, but in a way that reflects the strength you have developed. People may begin to notice the change in you. They may feel drawn to your calmness, your clarity, your confidence. This is part of your expansion. You are not just receiving abundance, you are becoming a vessel of it. But in order to do that effectively, you must remain rooted. Stay connected to what brought you here. Stay aware of the protection that surrounds you. Stay aligned with the guidance that continues to lead you. Do not allow distractions or external noise to pull you away from the path you are walking, because this path is not random. It is intentional. Everything you have experienced, both the struggles and the breakthroughs, has brought you to this point of readiness. And now, what is ahead of you requires you to stand fully in who you are becoming. Not partially, not hesitantly, but completely. This is the moment where you stop preparing and start living in the reality that has been forming around you. The moment where you no longer question whether you are ready, you recognize that you already are. And as you step into this awareness, something powerful happens. You begin to receive without resistance. You begin to move without fear. You begin to trust without hesitation. This is what it means to be aligned. This is what it means to be ready. So as you move forward from here, carry this understanding with you. You are not waiting for abundance anymore. You are standing in it. And everything that comes next will reflect that truth more clearly, more consistently, and more powerfully with each step you take. Beloved soul, everything has led you to this quiet, sacred moment of understanding. Not the kind that overwhelms you, but the kind that settles gently into your spirit and says, "It is done." The season of lack that once defined your days no longer has a place in your life. It has completed its assignment, and it has released you. Now, you stand in a different atmosphere. You may feel it as a calmness you cannot fully explain, a sense that something has lifted, and knowing that, even if everything is not fully visible yet, something within you has already changed. That feeling is not temporary. It is the beginning of stability. It is the foundation of the new life you are stepping into. Under the eternal watch and protection of Archangel Michael, the shield placed over your finances and your health remains active. It does not fade. It does not weaken. It continues to guard, to guide, and to preserve everything that is meant for you. You are not walking forward alone. You are walking forward covered. Let that truth bring you peace. There is no need to rush. No need to force outcomes. No need to prove anything to anyone. What is yours will arrive. What is meant for you will remain. And what no longer belongs in your life will continue to fall away without struggle. This is the ease of divine alignment. From this place, your role becomes simple. Stay present. Stay grateful. Stay open. Allow yourself to enjoy the small moments of peace, the steady improvements, the quiet confirmations that everything is moving in the right direction. You do not have to chase what is already flowing toward you. And as you continue to walk in this new season, remember this: abundance is not something outside of you. It is something you now carry within you. It is in the way you think. It is in the way you respond. It is in the way you trust. And because it lives within you, it will continue to express itself around you. There will be days where the evidence becomes clear and undeniable. Days where you look back and realize how far you have come. Days where you recognize that the struggles you once feared no longer hold any power over you. When those days come, receive them with gratitude, not surprise. Because this is what was always meant for you. A life where provision flows. A life where your body feels supported and strong. A life where your mind is at peace. A life where you are no longer surviving, but living. So take a moment now, right where you are, and breathe in this truth. You are safe. You are covered. You are provided for. And the season of divine abundance is not ending. It is just beginning to unfold more fully with each passing day. Type "I walk in abundance" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1444 is now activated. And as you step fully into this overflow, hear this call with clarity. This light that reached you is meant to reach many more. The Lord declares, I will pour water on the thirsty land and streams on the dry ground, and today you became part of that living stream. Now I say this as a witness to your spirit. I am called to carry this message forward, and you are invited to move with me in that calling. When you release your seed through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link placed in every description and QR code, you are not giving to a channel. You are opening a river that carries healing, protection, and awakening into countless lives. Do not delay this moment. Let your action become a prophetic response to what you have received. As you give, may your hands never be empty, may your path remain protected, and may abundance rise in your life without interruption. Step forward and sow now.